Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to our weekly Family Connections. This is our 5 o'clock version of our weekly show. And today we are going to be talking about important topics for our seniors. We have several panelists with us that will be chiming in with information. My name is Rachel McLean. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Learning and Innovation for the district. And joining us today, we have Jennifer Rosas. She is our work-based learning coordinator for the high school. We have Valerie Morris is our public information officer, and Shauna Pinkerton is our academic dean at the high school. And we may have a couple more panelists that are going to be joining in with us in the next few minutes. And so if that's the case, when those panelists join in, we will introduce them. So we have had questions that have been being submitted by parents over this topic. And then earlier today, we had a lot of interaction with parents. That Family Connections was posted, will be posted on our website along with other topics from Family Connections during the school year. And so we'll pop that website into the chat in just a few minutes. So you would have access to the earlier chat in case we do not talk about the same things. And as always, if you have questions, please feel free to ask those questions in the chat feature or in the Q&A feature, and we will try to answer as many of your questions live as possible. So we will go ahead and get started with our topics for the day. Since we have our work-based learning coordinator and our academic dean with us, let's talk about things related to what is happening for students as they transition. So these students are about to hit one of the most important milestones of their life, graduating from high school. And so what are some of the things that our senior parents need to be focusing in on as far as helping their student transition for college or options after college? We'll just get started with that topic first. Jennifer and Shauna, if you guys want to chime in.
Absolutely. So there are actually a lot of things that parents at this point can help with. One of the main things is completing the FAFSA. So FAFSA is student aid. So if your student is going to go to college, whether that means they're going for a certificate, an associate degree, a bachelor's degree, whatever that may look like for them, this is money that is allotted that they can use to help pay for school. And so that is definitely something that we want every student to take advantage of, to apply for, because there are times where this is a means that before you thought you couldn't make it work. And once you complete the FAFSA and see what is available to you, you realize that it can happen and that you can make this work. And so I say that is probably number one on the list right now, is getting that FAFSA completed so that you can see what you're eligible for. The other thing is applying to colleges. It's not too late. There is still plenty of time. Some of the colleges, I know WTC in particular, TSTC, some of the junior colleges, they take applications well into the summer. And so it is not too late to decide to go to college and complete that application. And that can all be done through Apply Texas. All you have to do is go to Apply Texas and you can complete FAFSA, you can fill out applications and have it sent to multiple schools. So I think that's big right now in helping them prepare for that next step and what is ahead of them after graduation.
Very
So
true.
another thing that we try to help students be prepared for is like the TSI. So along with what Ms. Rosas is saying, we have all of our seniors attempt the TSI. Of course, our goal is always to get it passed so that all barriers are taken off the table as best we can for a student that might change their mind or decide to go to school, go to college or a certificate program a couple of years down the road. And we think all of that is extremely important for our students. So the TSI is a Texas initiative exam in Texas, and it basically shows college readiness And it is one of our measures at the high school that we do to make sure that that one more barrier is taken off of the table for our students, along with the FAFSA as well. We understand that not all students can get the TSI mastered, so we do several different things to try to help them master that TSI. One of the things that we do is a college prep course. I call it the TSI prep course, to be honest with you. It is very specific to the TSI and helping our students be successful. And so they transition through this course and maneuver through the course, and then they take the TSI again when they have completed the course to show a pre-test and a post-test and completion of that course. And it's honored when they go to their, well, specifically to WTC in general, or another junior college will honor that. But our partnership is with WTC in specific. So those things we try to always help our students be prepared for. We also have the military recruiters that come all the time and visit with students, and those can be set up through the counselor's office if that is a route that any of our seniors are choosing to take as well.
So as seniors get ready to kind of wrap up this end of the year, families should be thinking about college applications, FAFSA, military options, and the TSI. Those are all pieces that you guys just spoke about, even if kids are not thinking they're going to go into college. So your recommendation is to go ahead and have those barriers out just in case they need some additional training before going into the job market. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. You have us here to help you, seniors and parents. When Ms. Rosas and I, we can help you do all of this stuff and have it completely off the table. Life is stressful enough, so let's get this stuff out of the way when you have help and guidance, and you don't have to try to figure it out a year down the road. Oh man, what were they trying to tell me to do? And remember that. So it's always best to get it out of the way now and be prepared for any avenue life may throw at you.
And I think this is a great plug into several things that we have happening right now. We have what we call the Cube Connection, where students with their parents can sign up for times to come up to the high school and speak with Ms. Pinkerton and I. I've helped students with college applications, FAFSA, you name it, we've done it. And so this is just a great opportunity if you need more of a one-on-one for us to be able to assist. Another thing we're doing is next Friday, April the 16th, we are going to have a Tiger Trek event. And so from 9 to 1 that day, we're going to have all of our seniors in the indoor. We would like to invite all of the parents to come with them. We're going to put them into groups, and we're going to have 4 stations. And we're going to talk about these topics that we've been discussing in this. So if you need some help filling out the FAFSA, that's a great time to come and ask some questions. If they need some help with the college applications, we're here for that too. We'll also be talking about Capstone, which we'll be talking about here in a minute. And then getting some input from seniors and parents on graduation and activities coming up, and having those discussions of what we're doing. So that's next Friday. We're going to do it at the indoor facility here on campus. And so students will be, the seniors will be excused from class that day. Not that the attendance won't be taken. We will know who is there and who is not. But they will, during class time that Friday morning, they're going to be in specialized sessions to get to learn more about this and make sure that they have everything completed that they need.
We did have a question pop into the chat that if your child has already applied and been accepted to college, should parents still attend Tiger Trek next week?
I think so. If they want more information, absolutely. We're going to have some information about some scholarships. There's always scholarships out there, and I know being in school, I applied for every scholarship I could find. So anything that could help, I went for it. So I would definitely say that, if you feel the need to be there and you want to hear the information firsthand, we welcome you.
Very good. So while we're talking on this topic, the free tuition at WTC. So what do families have to do to qualify for that? And, how does all that work and what does it cover?
Okay, so the guidelines for that were, we just found out today, right before lunch, actually right before our 12 o'clock Parent Connect. And so WTC is working on updating their website with those specifications. They did have to alter that last year due to COVID and the restrictions. And so they're getting that updated. And as soon as they have all of that in print, then we will be getting that out to the students. We'll use ParentSquare, we'll use the student emails. It does cover up to 15 hours a semester for students, but it doesn't cover all fees. So if the student wants to live in the dorms, that is not going to be covered. The books that are needed for those courses, that won't be covered. And then there are a few like internet fees or lab fees, things like that that you could incur. But having that FAFSA completed, that may cover the rest of that expense. And that is one requirement of the Opportunity Scholarship, is that you have filled out the FAFSA, because they want to know, is there any money on the table that could help pay for school before they kick in what is needed.
You know, one thing we didn't talk about earlier today, the free tuition at WTC is not forever. And so students have to enroll and go to WTC within a certain time period, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now is the time to take advantage.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, people that that are learning about this, I'm not originally from Snyder. And so this is something that I heard about it, but coming here, I'm so excited that my freshman in high school is going to have this opportunity to get her schooling taken care of, because where we came from, that was not an option.
Yes.
So this is definitely something that not everywhere has this capability.
Right. Definitely a great benefit for our community. So we've had a couple other panelists join in. We have Jesus Gomez is with us. He's our Director of Equity. So if anyone needs translation support, Jesus, if you'll reach out to Jesus in the panel, the chat feature. So Jesus, you might want to pop those instructions in there. And then Mr. Murphy is in the room. And so up there he is. I see him. So Mr. Murphy is our high school principal. So we've had lots of questions now that you're with us about significant senior events, prom, graduation, the traditional activities of our senior class. So what can you tell our parents about those plans?
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to getting started on making those decisions. I know it's been a long process and just kind of holding off until we know about what we have to do with COVID. I think based on the restrictions that we have right now, it's hard to have a few of those events like prom, when you have to wear a face mask and you have to social distance. It's hard to do those. So hopefully as things change, because I know things have changed throughout the state and different things, that we have an opportunity to have a prom. We plan on getting information out really soon about prom. Sorry, I had technical difficulties. Someone's working on my computer. Am I on now?
Yes.
Okay, I will scoot over here. So we're working on all that stuff. Right now, we have prom to look forward to. There's a lot of questions on graduation. So hopefully at least by Monday, we'll have tons of information out on that.
And the way that families can make sure that they're getting that information, you'll send it through ParentSquare?
Yes, ma'am. We'll communicate through ParentSquare.
Okay. And then at Tiger Trek that Ms. Rosas was talking about, that information will be there as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that is very exciting. I know as a parent of a senior last year, when the shutdown happened full blast, we lost some of our senior options, but nevertheless, to be able to return to some normalcy will be appreciated, I think. All right, Ms. Rosas mentioned the capstone. So let's talk through that, because the capstone project is something that our seniors complete. So what is the capstone and where can families find information about it? And what can parents do to help support their seniors?
So the capstone is a project that we started about 4 or 5 years ago now. It's been quite some time. The Capstone Showcase in specific is for our seniors to be able to showcase what all they have learned or experienced through high school, specifically to an area of interest for them. And so I have been very impressed over the time frame that I've been a part of this. Our students stepping up just with great products and creativity on top of everything else. So specifically, if a student has been interested in welding for 4 years, they might have a welding project on display, or the steps that it took for them to create that project. Our culinary arts students, my personal favorite is when they cook for us at the Capstone Showcase. And so I might visit that table a couple of times, and they always have fantastic food for their people that are stopping and listening to their presentation. We have people that have PowerPoint presentations or art displays of everything they've done over the 4 years. And so it's really a great opportunity for the community and parents to see what our seniors have been up to for 4 years. And so it's a great opportunity. I post, I'm working on switching everything over into Schoology. So our students have access to that. They've been put into a course that's randomly shown up in Schoology, and they have access to those way to turn stuff in, a resume, a cover letter, an explanation of how this is a part of their life and their future, and then obviously some pictures of their products as we get closer. So parents, you have access to Schoology through your parent portal. That is something that, and I believe Dr. McLean will talk about posting something. If you do not remember how to access that, we'll get you in there. And then also we'll put stuff out on ParentSquare. Specifically right now, the Capstone Fair, and I know at the 12 o'clock, I may have said May the 27th. After re-looking at my notes, it is May the 20th. May 20th. So that will have more information coming out. It's a Thursday, as we have more details specific as to how we're having to spread that out. And I'm very excited to get to have an in-person version. Last year we had to do this virtual, so limited people really got to see what was going on. And these kids have worked hard for 4 years. And so I'm very excited for them to get to showcase that out. We specifically brought the Capstone into play for these seniors to show off some stuff that they're doing. We go through 4 years of school, and it's not all about academics. And so it is very important for us to have our students prepared for the next level, whatever that may be. And so this is a way for us to get to do that.
You know, I think about, every time I think about the Capstone Fair, we have our greenhouse manager, who is a former graduate. She presented probably at the very first Capstone, and she had, her and her partner was doing a project related to sales and some work in her science classes, and combining that with her ag classes. And so now she is managing a greenhouse, and when the greenhouse ribbon cutting happens next week, everybody should go and see exactly how well a Snyder graduate can use their training from high school plus her college to achieve a really great project. So that I was thinking about that earlier today when you were talking, Shauna, about the projects that we have seen over the past few years.
The other student that was involved in that, specifically the gel electrophoresis stuff that they did, is using that exact stuff in his research with Texas Tech, currently doing gel electrophoresis research. So it's really cool. I visited with him a couple of months ago. And so that is a great example of the Capstone and our students furthering their knowledge.
Right. Yes. Okay. So graduation is coming. We have had some couple of questions related to if a senior has not passed all of their end of course tests, their STAR end of course test, what are their options to graduate? So let's talk through that for a minute, because it is a requirement in the state of Texas to pass those EOC tests. So what are the options, and what communication has taken place with parents so far?
Okay. Definitely all students need to pass their end of course exams to graduate high school. However, if for some reason they fall short of that, if they haven't passed all theirs, they're still taking the tests. Right now, we'll have another administration coming up this month and in May to get those passed. But if not, they still have an option to graduate. They would have to pass 3 of their 5 EOCs, STAR test. So if they have at least 3 of those passed, so let's say they passed English 1, English 2, and biology, that means they did not pass Algebra 1 and US history. So in Algebra 1 and US history, they would have to perform certain tasks, create a portfolio, some work to prove that they mastered that content. We would form a committee that would review that material and give them credit for that. We would have, it's what it's called as a individual graduation committee graduation. So that committee would look at what all they've done for that course and determine if they've met the requirements of that course, and then we would graduate them. But like I said, we still have one more administration of the test so they can take it to pass. If they are in that category of needing an IGC to graduate, we've contacted most of those students already. So they will know what they're up against and what all they have to do to graduate. And if for some reason you feel like you might be in that category and you haven't heard from us, give us a call and we'll make sure that we've got you covered.
Okay, very good. And then this particular class, because of the COVID shutdown last year, would have taken US history their junior year. But if we talked about this earlier, if they pass the class, then there's some changes on that one as well, correct?
Yeah, I can only hear part of your question. But I think I know what you're asking. If they were based on being in COVID last year, so they had been juniors last year, they'd have been in US history. So if they took that course and passed it, they would have been exempt from taking the US history STAR test.
Right. That would be one of their 5 that
Yes, ma'am.
no longer be responsible for. Okay. And then there's a specific number of credits that are needed to graduate. And how does that work for a senior? And how, what's the impact on attendance? Because historically we see some senioritis that starts happening when the weather gets pretty and things are wrapping up for a senior year. So
yes.
How can that impact a graduation?
Okay, well, hopefully we're not getting senioritis this year. Maybe we won't. But it depends on what graduation plan a student's on. Most students will need about 20, or not about, they'll need 26 credits to graduate. That means they're on the foundation plan plus getting an endorsement. However, sometimes students decide to be on just the foundation plan without an endorsement. So those students would need 22 credits to graduate. Just talking about attendance, we've kind of reviewed this earlier in the year, but the state of Texas says that you have to be in attendance in class 90% of the time. And if you're not, you're at risk of losing credit for that class. So if you're a student who was not in attendance for 90% of the time for the first semester, we've already contacted you. Those students are making up hours. They're attending Saturday school or Pride Hall or staying in at lunch detention. We have a handful of students that owe quite a few hours. So we've added opportunities such as doing assignments through Edgenuity so they can earn back hours, but they have to make up those hours in order to earn credit. So that's important depending on what plan they're on. Like I said, if the student's just on the foundation plan, that's 22 credits. However, the majority of our students are on the foundation plus endorsement, which would be 26 credits they would have to earn.
And then as a parent, there's a couple of classes that are very important their senior year that they'll have to graduate. So
yes, ma'am. English 4, economics. Yeah, they have to have those credits to graduate. And just with any graduation plan, you have to have a certain number of math credits, English credits. So our counselors do a really good job of tracking our students and making sure our students have all the credits that they have to graduate.
Very good. So I popped your email into the chat for all of our attendees. So if parents have questions or if they're concerned that their child may not be on track to graduate,
yes,
they can shoot you an email or like you said, give the high school a call.
We would love that. Yeah, we'd like to have as much communication as possible with their, because we're not perfect. We may have missed a student or miscommunicated in some way. So if there's any questions, let us know. I may not have the answer, but the counselors, Ms. Pinkerton, Ms. Rosas, between the 5 of us, 6 of us, we can answer just about any question and make sure they're taken care of.
All right.
And if they have any questions on, end of the school year, senior activities, We're going to have to work really fast here pretty soon. Once we know exactly what we're able to do with COVID guidelines and restrictions. I mean, there's so many things that we need to do for our seniors to make their senior year great and prepare them for graduation and moving on. But, there's traditional things like the steak dinner and the 10% banquet and all that stuff that we need to start planning on and working on. So we'll need a lot of communication, a lot of help from our parents.
All right. And I think most all of our parents, our senior class is connected through ParentSquare, but if they are not connected through ParentSquare, Valerie probably will pop in some access to how to get signed up for that program. So sounds like a lot of communication will be coming out over the next couple of weeks. So that'll be great for our parents and our students. All right, so we have about 5 minutes left. We didn't get through all of our questions earlier today, and so now we've actually hit all of our questions. So if parents that are on our call have any that they would like to ask, please feel free to pop those in the chat or into the Q&A feature. And while we're waiting, if any parents are thinking about questions, maybe just give a brief recap of the important things that seniors and parents should be doing over the next few weeks regarding college, career options, military options, and then the updates on information regarding like graduation and prom. Ms. Rosas, you want to just kind of recap what you had said earlier? We've had some more attendees that have joined us.
Absolutely. So I think the main thing right now is getting that FAFSA completed and moving forward with college applications. And if your student isn't sure if they want to be, I'm going to say surgical tech, just because that's one of the ones we've had. A student came to us and said, this is what I want to do, but I don't know where to go. I don't know who offers it. That's what we're here for. So we're going to research and we're going to find out which schools in Texas offer that program and get them connected and get them hooked up so that they are ready to go. So if your student has questions, send them to us. We try to pull them out and reach them, but there's only so much time in the day and we may miss a kid here or there. So if they specifically have a question, tell them, don't hesitate, come see us. Next Friday, the 16th is going to be a big day for our seniors and a great opportunity for them to learn and to understand the process, for parents to come join. We didn't mention earlier, but we are going to have some giveaways. We may have some food. We've got, stuff for parents, stuff for students. So we really are looking forward to this. We're looking forward to the opportunity to see a bunch of the parents. We haven't gotten to have as much of that interaction this year with restrictions. And so it's kind of exciting that we're going to get to see some. So we really hope that everybody comes out, but if you have questions, please ask. You won't ever know the answer if you don't ask the question. And no question is dumb or not worth asking. So if you or your student have questions, please come to us. And like Mr. Murphy said, if we don't know the answer, we're going to find someone who does, so that we can make sure that you get where you need to go.
All right, very good. I put yours and Ms. Pinkerton's email in the chat also, so it's just easy reference.
Perfect.
And Mr. Murphy, any last bits of information from you?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to a lot of communication with our parents. Can y'all hear me? So just after, I think we'll have more information towards the end of this week about what we can accomplish with all the senior activities and prom. And that seems to be the most of the questions I'm getting from students. Like, are we having all the cool stuff that we should be having? And the answer is, I hope. So we'll communicate a lot more as soon as we have more answers. And I know we're going to need the help of as many parents as possible. So I look forward to communicating with them. And just being new to the campus, it's been hard to get to know a lot of our parents and students with so many restrictions. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity to have all these fun events and to get to know them. I look forward to working with them. So I hope they're, as far as senior parents, I hope they come to Tiger Trek, because that'll be a huge opportunity for us to get to know each other and talk through things, and they can ask any questions they want. And, it'll just be fun. So I'm looking forward to finishing up the year.
All right, that sounds good. Well, we are out of time. I do not see any new questions that are in the chat or in the Q&A. So we will be back next week with Family Connections. Hope everybody is able to join us, and we will see you then. Have a great week.